Good morning, sports fans. You're listening to 96.9 FM WHYR LP Baton Rouge Community Radio.
This is Eric Hatfield along with Coach Perry Daniels, and we are here to bring you the latest, the greatest, the best, and the most entertaining in high school, college, and professional sports. You are listening to Louisiana All American Sports. Ain't nobody dope as I'll say this thing today. Good morning, Baton Rouge. Today is Saturday, March the 22nd, 2014.
You don't have 22 fingers, man. You don't look at your fingers.
2014, and you are listening to Louisiana All American Sports on 96.9 FM WHYR LP Baton Rouge Community Radio. This is Eric Hatfield.
And I'm Coach Perry Daniels, and we are joined today with a special guest. Joining us in the studio is the Port Allen High senior point guard, Nicholas Parker, and he's going to be our special guest host today. He's got a big announcement to make. We're going to get to that a little bit later, but let me just read to you some of Nick's credentials. Nick Parker took his team this year to the quarterfinals with a 22-9 record. They were the 7-3A district champs. The state champion for classification 3A also came out of District 7, and Nicholas Parker and the Port Allen Pelicans split with the eventual state champion U-High Cubs. Nick Parker averaged 20 points a game, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, and 2.5 steals. He is the all-time leading scorer for the Port Allen Pelicans with 2,565 points. He's been all-district 4 times, all-metro 2 times, all-state in 2012. He scored a 22 on his ACT with a 3.7 GPA, and he's ranked number 5 in his class. Welcome to the show, Nicholas Parker. Say hello to the people out there, Nick.
How y'all doing out there?
Man, good to see you. We got all this basketball going on around the country, and we're just glad to have you. We're anticipating your announcement and where you're going to go to school, and we're going to jump into that a little bit later. We're going to keep the fans listening for a little while longer, man, and we're going to get your opinion on some of this basketball. Since you're such a basketball expert, we're going to get your opinion on some of this college basketball that's going on around the country. We had the big upset yesterday with the Duke Blue Devils.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Duke I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to be on a watch list for college coaches for giving them the kiss of death. I mean, I had Duke in my bracket, which, by the way, you can see at my blog, The Daily Hat Trick, at www.thedailyhattrick.com. But I had Duke going all the way and winning a whole enchilada, and I've been saying all year that I expected them to be in the Final Four even before that. So Duke goes out yesterday. They get ready to battle up with Mercer, with the Mercer Bears, and lo and behold, Coach K goes out and lays a gigantic Blue Devil-sized egg as Mercer showed no mercy against the Blue Devils. There are always a lot of first-round upsets, but this one I never saw coming. Some of the ones I knew were possible. They were on my radar.
Right.
Some I picked, like the Lumberjacks from the Southland Conference.
Okay.
But I never saw this coming, Perry.
I never saw this coming either, man. But before I really dive into that particular game, man, let's get Nick's Final Four. Let's hear who he had on his brackets.
In the Final Four, I had Duke, Florida, and Syracuse, and Louisville.
And Louisville. Okay. Oh no, Duke and Louisville in that same.
That's a Louisville and Syracuse. No,
Louisville and Duke in the same bracket.
That's right.
I picked Louisville to come out of that bracket.
That's right.
But what were your thoughts on the game yesterday? First of all, did you see it?
I saw
Yes,
it.
sir.
You saw it? What were your thoughts?
Just a lot of people ain't step up. Rodney Hood, he ain't show up. He had like 6 points, 4 points. Jabari Parker, he played an okay game. He only had about 14, but they just fell short. Quinn Cook had a good game. That was it. They guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you have a team like Duke, you got to have you need to have Jabari Parker up there and Rodney Hood. I mean, both those guys need to be up, so when neither one of them are up, Whew, that's a lot of problem no matter who you're playing, and Mercer was up the whole game. They have a lot of seniors on that team. They were ready.
That's what kind of amazed me about the whole thing, that Coach K, during his press conference, he kind of offered that as a reason that his team did not win, that, they were playing against seniors and his team are freshmen. Well, I don't buy that.
Yeah, you got some of the best freshmen in the country every year. I will say this much. One thing I did observe, it seemed like Mercer stayed patient throughout the process. The game was always close, and I did see Duke. They appeared to be pressing a little bit to me. Mercer never did. They just kind of stuck with their process, and then all of a sudden they kind of went ahead and they stayed grounded the whole time. I do think there might be something to seasoning, but my God, you're Duke, they're Mercer.
Right.
It shouldn't matter. Like when you press, you should smush them when you press.
Because here's the deal. Most of the kids wearing those 4 letters DUKE across their chest, they weren't even, they never considered Mercer as an option to go to school. Right. And most of those kids with Mercer across their chest, Duke never would have allowed them to play on their team.
Well, and Mason Plumlee, he's a senior. Was he unseasoned and inexperienced? They had Ronnie Hood's a sophomore. He's not like he hasn't been around the block before.
Right.
So but a lot of analysts said the same thing, though. It seemed like Duke got a little impatient, and their main cog is a freshman. I'm sure that played into it, but this is not the first time Duke has done this. They lost to Lehigh. I could be wrong, but I want to say it was in 2012 in the first round when they were a 2 seed, losing to a 15. They got beaten by Virginia Commonwealth, I want to say, in the round of 32 back in 20... one of the year VCU made it to the Final Four, which actually would have been 2012, so Duke must have dropped one last year. Anyway, they have a history of losing games early in the tournament when they shouldn't, even though they have a national championship as recent as 3 years ago.
Right. I want to get
225-343-9927, area code 225-343-9927 if you'd like to join in.
And in a few minutes, man, it's amazing, Eric. Last week we had a silent guest in the studio with us, and this week we've got Nick Parker, we've got Derek Thomas sitting out in the lobby, and he's going to chime in a few minutes on his thoughts on this NCAA tournament. I'm just amazed at what has taken place with traditional NCAA powerhouses, programs such as Duke, such as the teams that did not make it, like a Georgetown. Right.
Our teams like, you look at a lot of teams that were seated low. Louisville, defending national champion, ranked number 5, and they got a 4 seed, which I think that was outrageous. A lot of teams though really scraped in or didn't get in. But you know what we're noticing here? This is a kind of a reflection of the NBA's policy of making requiring folks requiring to be 19 years old. I'll tell you why. Because you have your sophomores, juniors, and seniors leave. Your best players that are underage are in the NBA. They're not in college. That gives the mid-majors a leg up.
Something tells me these are people dying to talk to Nick Parker. So
I'll get it.
Okay, and I don't think it's a victim of the rule, and I'd like to get Nick's opinion on this regarding what do you think regarding people going to the NCAA one and done rule. Are you in favor of that? Do you think kids should be able to go straight out of high school to join the NBA? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think they should be, but you go to college to get smart and get a job. But they so good at what they do, they get to go to pros and make more money, and that's what they want to do.
See, and I agree with you, and really, frankly, I think that personal gain is far better than this perceived quality of basketball that college fans are trying to push. You don't stop tennis athletes from going pro at a certain age. You don't stop. There's no minimum for baseball players to go pro.
It kind of is.
No, well, what do you mean?
If you don't go, if you're drafted at 18 and you don't go, you have to stay till you're 21.
But here's the key. You can go at 18.
I want to get into that in a second because I have a very different point of view.
Okay, we do have a caller?
Yes, there's a gentleman named Willie Williams on the line who would like to chat with Mr. Parker.
Awesome.
Good morning, Mr. Williams. You're on the air with Eric Hatfield, Coach Perry Daniels, and Nick Parker on Louisiana All American Sports. Go ahead.
Good morning. I want to know from Nick Parker, what talents or gifts will you be bringing to the institution of your choice?
I think I can come in, put up some points, help them win a couple games, and just contribute to their program.
Okay, all right.
All right, anything else, Mr. Williams?
That's it. Okay.
All right, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Appreciate you calling.
Nick, for those folks that have never had the privilege of seeing you play, when you say contribute to their program, explain how you can contribute to a basketball program.
Defense, control the tempo of the game, push the ball up the court, because I'm fast. That's one of my attributes. And scoring the ball, I'm a good scorer.
You are an excellent scorer.
Yeah, he's being modest here this morning.
He's being really modest, and that's part of the upbringing from his dad, Coach Parker, and his mom. They've done a fantastic job. You've got two brothers. We've kind of talked about your brothers have actually called into the show previously. Yeah. And I'm not sure if you were aware of that, man, but if you would just explain to the people where your brothers are and how they got to college and which colleges they decided to go to.
My oldest brother, LJ, he went to Tulane for football. He was a DB. And my middle brother, Marcus, he went to Nicholas for a linebacker, but he currently go to Southern.
So you got 3 Division I athletes come out of this one household, and they're all young men, and academically sound young men. We heard Tulane,
Right.
which in the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, they don't just let you slide in.
Right.
No.
Right. For those of you listening around the country, that's one of the top schools in our state, in the country, actually, Tulane University.
Or they like to say the Harvard of the South.
The Harvard of the South. So the Parkers have just done an outstanding job with the young men. And here is the youngest, Nicholas Parker. And he's here to make his announcement today about his school. Before we get to that, though, Nick, let's kind of talk about your teammates this year, and Port Allen not. Your thoughts on the season?
We had a good season. We just fell short, made it to the quarters. We just fell short of our goal of being state champions. One of our goals was being district champions. We achieved that. And I just played with a couple of quality guys. Josh Walker, he was a defensive player. He held down their main player sometimes. We had Telson Allen, he was our spark plug. Ishmael Lane was our big guy under the goal. Him and Marcus Keys, we call him Moochie. They was big presence under the goal. Adrian Franklin, he was a role player, but he gave some points every once in a while. Good player. We just had some good players on our team.
You did have some really good players, man. Real quick, tell me about Telson Allen, one of Eric's favorite guys, man. So talk about Telson Allen a little bit.
Oh, Telson Allen, he a character. He a spark plug. He bring all the quality to the team. He come off the bench and he hustle. He play defense. He bring the life to the game.
Yes, man. We talk about that. He does all the intangibles.
Yeah, you can see the Spark Plug, Moochie, Nick Parker, and the whole bunch on Louisiana All American Sports.com. There are replays of several Port Allen Pelicans games. Very entertaining. Right now, we have a friend of the show who, interestingly, we met at Port Allen, Coach Darren Cohn, assistant coach of the Nicholls State Colonels, calling in. Coach, good morning. Can you hear us? How's it going today?
I'm on the phone with some PTs here.
That's the best Dick Vitale impersonation I think I've heard in quite some time.
That was really good, Coach.
Yeah.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. It's a beautiful morning, gentlemen.
It sure is, Coach. Thanks for joining the show this morning. Look, why don't you? I know there's some things you can and cannot discuss regarding
recruiting.
Right, exactly. So I won't even put you on the spot there. But could you, for the audience, we're going to jump ahead just a little, a micro in subject, because I think you can help shed some light on some things. One, give us a little wrap up about how Nicholls basketball finished the year and where their outlook for next year, and then also you have a in-conference foe that pulled off a stunning upset last night in the Stephen F. Austin Lumberjacks, and if you could talk about them rubbing out former recent Final Four participant VCU and Coach Shaka Smart, I think the audience would love to hear that.
Absolutely. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to have to extend the show.
We can't, Coach. We need you to kind of run through it, but we're glad you joined us.
All right, we'll take these in order here. So Nicholls State University We finished up the season with a loss to Northwestern State in our conference tournament, but we had a great year. We finished 10-8 in conference. It's only the second winning season in conference in 16 years, so I feel really good about that. But did a nice job. It finished up 14-15 overall, but 10-8 in conference, and like I said, made it to our conference tournament for the 6th consecutive year, and then won our first round game against Southeastern Louisiana. Ended up coming up a little short to Northwestern Louisiana.
Right.
So good stuff. Got 2 big-time seniors to replace Dantrell Thomas from Manning, Louisiana, and Jeremy Smith from New Orleans. Both of those 2 moving on, and now we got to replace them. And more bigger and exciting things to come in the future at Nicholls State University down here in Thibodaux on the Bayou.
Oui, fais dodo.
Yes, sir. But Stephen F. Austin, ironically, Eric, you may not even know this, I coached at Stephen F. Austin from 2003 to 2006. So I'm very familiar with the university over in Nacogdoches, Texas. It's really just over the Louisiana line. It was so close to Louisiana. But what an opportunity and experience for the Lumberjacks. And interesting story, when I was coaching at Stephen F. Austin, Brad Underwood, who's the head coach there now, was the head coach at Daytona Beach Community College in Florida. And we were recruiting one of his players, so I was going to Daytona Beach to recruit one of Coach Underwood's players about once a month. So interesting now that he's the head coach of Stephen F. Austin, and they just did a fantastic job. They went undefeated in the Southland Conference. They won every single game in the regular season, and then they swept through the tournament, won every single game in the conference tournament. And I'll tell you this. In our non-conference slate, we played Indiana, we played Auburn, we played Memphis, who's in the Big Dance, North Texas. I mean, we had a really good schedule. We played University of San Francisco, who's in the Big Dance, and Stephen F. Austin was the best team that we played this year. And that's with San Francisco and Memphis and Indiana and some really great teams. Stephen F. Austin was the best basketball team that we played this year. So. I was not surprised that they won last night. I was not surprised that they beat VCU. Now, it was a battle. It was a war because VCU is darn good, too. But, wow, what an exciting thing for not only that university, but the Southland Conference, who is really rooted in the state of Louisiana with multiple schools in the state of Louisiana. So,
Right.
Great thing for our conference and Commissioner Burnett and that means more money coming back to the Southland schools because, as you know, the NCAA tournament's $1 billion revenue-generating activity, and each game that you win is broken down in units. So, and each game that you win, your conference gets more dollar units. So it's going to help everybody involved. It's going to help Nicholls State University and all the rest of the universities in the Southland Conference. So, big kudos to the Lumberjacks.
Coach, I want to say thank you because it was you that brought the Lumberjacks to our attention. As we were following Nicholls State, Stephen F. Austin grabbed our attention, and that allowed me to be able to be educated enough to pick them in the bracket yesterday. Because of that, when I saw that score, when you guys played them, I figured that was a pretty good basketball team. So I just like to thank you. And one last thing, though, Coach, and then we've got to let you go. Man, the night that you and Eric met, man, it was at Port Allen High. And if you could just talk a little bit about what you saw that night out there amongst those athletes on that court.
Man, due to NCAA rules, I'm not allowed to talk about specific players and all, but I'll tell you, Coach Ricard does a heck of a job. And the thing I like about Coach Ricard, he's a student of the game. I was at a couple state playoff games, and I've seen Coach Ricard in the stands. So watching other teams, and he's just a student of the game. He does a tremendous job with his young men. But Louisiana basketball is at a high level right now at the high school level, and I just got back from Lake Charles, so that's why I couldn't call you last week because I was out there checking out the state championship games and things of that nature. But there's just a lot of a lot of high level coaches and a lot of high level players down here in the booth. So you guys got a lot to talk about, lots to cover on your show, which is a blessing for everybody.
Coach, as always, thank you so very much for joining us. We really, really, really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day, and feel free to drop in anytime, man.
Hey, you bet, guys, and enjoy the rest of March Madness. Don't stay on the air too long, because them games are about to tip off again.
That's right. Thank you, Coach. Have a wonderful day, man.
All right, bye now.
Coach, Assistant Coach Darren Cohn of the Nichols State Colonels down in Thibodeau, down in the Bayou. Laissez le bon temps rouler, mon cher.
Hey, man, I've got to ask Nick, was Nichols on the short list? Is that something that's possibly in the mix for this announcement that we've got coming up?
They was in it. Like, they had about 10 teams, 10 schools in it, and they was one of them.
They were one of the schools? Yes, okay. So, all right. Well, you might have an announcement here, Coach.
Sure. Yeah, I tell you, I know Coach can't talk about specifics, but I can talk my common sense. I know he was looking at Nick Parker when he was out there in Port Allen.
But there were a lot of other good players on the team. Do we know Emmanuel Elaine? Is he going to the next level, Nick, or do we know?
Yeah, Ishmael, he is.
Ishmael is? Do we know?
If he keep working hard,
he's a junior, right?
He's only a junior. Oh, wow.
Right.
Well, yeah.
And Telson Allen's a junior too, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so those are guys to keep your eye. Those are guys worth coming to see.
Right.
Especially Ishmael Lane, 6'8", 40, something like that, 230. Yeah. So I mean, those are valuable assets. That's and that's just not me being a homer for Port Allen because we cover them. That's real. That's real. Physics. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the NCAA scores last night. I'm gonna race through it real quick and fill everybody in on the NCAA tournament activity from yesterday. Okay, so in the Thursday games, we had some upset specials going on, starting off with the Dayton Flyers. They flew right over the Ohio State Buckeyes, giving Ohio State a black eye as they were bumped out early once again. Their inability to score just got the better of them. The Wisconsin Badgers...
Hold on. Before we move on, man, I've got to say this. Anyone that's been listening to our show for the last month should not have been surprised by Ohio State losing in the first round. We've talked to you about how difficult it is for that team to score.
Right, and I'm not surprised. I picked them in my bracket, but the Dayton Flyers are an upset-capable team, and, well, they did it.
And it was an in-state rivalry. That should not have surprised folks.
Great game. B. Sanford of Dayton with a layup with 3.8 seconds to go in the game, and Dayton with one of many of the upsets we can expect here in March Madness. The American University Eagles went bald as they lost to the Wisconsin Badgers 75-35, getting obliterated. The Pittsburgh Panthers mauled the Colorado Buffaloes. Much like the Native Americans, they left no wasted pieces of the Buffaloes as they blew them away 77-48. The Harvard Crimson beat the Cincinnati Bearcats 61-57. Cincinnati's ability to do anything when Sean Kilpatrick is off his game, caught up to bite them in the butt yesterday.
You know what, though, Eric, on that game kind of surprised me, and it should not have. I'm disappointed in myself because Harvard did this last year.
Right, exactly.
And I just didn't consider that when making those choices, and Cincinnati had beaten Louisville.
Right, I thought they'd be good enough.
Which made me think that they were a pretty good team.
Cincinnati's bugaboo is not being able to shoot. When you can't shoot and you have a team like Harvard that gets hot, that can happen, man. Right. And anyway, going on, we have the Syracuse Orange they bucked the Western Michigan Broncos. The Oregon Ducks defeated Brigham Young University. The Florida Gators chewed up and spit out the Albany Danes. You probably should at least have a cat mascot rather than the dog mascot in basketball, as you'll see later. Michigan State Spartans, they totally destroyed the Delaware Fighting Blue Hens, and I'm sure Joe Flacco will get a lot of ribbing from his teammates as he went to a college called the Fighting Blue Hens. They were more like Cornish hens yesterday. The Connecticut Huskies defeathered the St. Joseph Hawks. The Michigan Wolverines absolutely sliced up the Wofford Terriers and made canine pate out of them again. Why would you have a dog as your mascot? It just doesn't work in sports. St. Louis Billikens, whatever that creature is, they beat the North Carolina State Wolfpack. The North.
Hold on. We can't just run by that score.
Absolutely.
We can't just run by that. We've got Derek Thomas in studio, St. Louis, Missouri native. You've heard him on our show before, giving us some updates on the Missouri Tigers for the SEC football season. Derek, if you'd like to chime in on that St. Louis game, man, I happened to watch this game, and I'm going to say this, Derek, right off the top, that the Billikens got extremely lucky. North Carolina State Wolfpack missed 16 second half free throws. They were up by double digits, and St. Louis went to the old hack-a-shack routine and were able to work themselves back into the basketball game.
I'm not sure you would call that luck. By the way, if you can't make a free throw, well, that's not our fault. So they went to a strategy and they won. And the Billikens, I got them going to the Sweet 16. So.
Really? Wait a minute now. The Billikens play Louisville today.
I got them going to the Sweet 16.
That's wow.
Well, all I can say is that we folks from St. Louis, they stay loyal to their teams, and we
Your thoughts, Nick?
we got St. Louis in the building.
Louisville gonna win.
Louisville's gonna
Yeah,
win.
they play good defense. Too good defense.
Well, now I'm gonna say this about St. Louis: the Billikens. The Billikens are the best defensive team in the Atlantic 10, but the problem is in the Atlantic 10. VCU lost yesterday out of the Atlantic 10.
That was
Right.
a tough loss.
But they lost
UMass, and I'm going to get to that in a minute,
UMass
got
lost
destroyed.
out of the Atlantic 10.
Right. The Atlantic coast might not be where it's at. Running through some more of these scores, we have a very bold prediction. The North Dakota State Bison sent the Oklahoma Sooners home a lot sooner than I expected, as I had them going to the Final Four, and instead they were eliminated in the first round. The Texas Longhorns were able to outlast the Arizona State Sun Devils. Villanova, in a battle of felines, the Villanova Wildcats clawed the Milwaukee Panthers badly, 73-53. The Louisville Cardinals were challenged by the Manhattan Jaspers, as there's a relationship between the Manhattan head coach and Coach Rick Pitino, and it looked like the Jaspers were always one step ahead or even with the Cardinals until the very end. Louisville winning 71-64, and the San Diego State Aztecs, much like now the Texas A&M Aggies, the New Mexico State Aggies are out of the tournament as they were beaten by San Diego State 73-69 going to Friday action. The Mercer Bears, as we said, took no mercy on Duke 78-61. The Baylor Bears beating the Nebraska Cornhuskers 74-60. The Stanford Cardinal pulling off a minor upset over the New Mexico Lobos. They were ranked. Cleveland Thomas of Scotlandville High School, he's now a sophomore. He did play 4 minutes in the game, had 1 rebound.
Awesome.
Yep. The Arizona, that's a Carlos Sample product right there, baby.
Right.
The Arizona Wildcats against the Weber State Wildcats showed which Wildcats were better. Probably if your name is not Weber, you might have a better chance against a team named after an actual state. The Tennessee Volunteers stepped up, and like any good woman, a Minuteman just had no place there as they blasted the Massachusetts Minutemen 86-67. Kansas defeated the Eastern Kentucky Colonels 80-69. That game was a lot closer than it should have been. The Gonzaga Bulldogs defeated the Oklahoma State Cowboys 85-77. The Memphis Tigers, George Washington is dead, and so are the George Washington Colonials, as Memphis beat them 71-66. No shock here, as the North Carolina Tar Heels beat Providence, slipped by Providence actually, 79-77. Scored a lot of points for a team that doesn't like to shoot from the perimeter a lot. They're going to have some problems going down the line. No shock as the Wichita State Shockers defeated the Cal Poly Mustangs. They just obliterated them 64-37. Stephen F. Austin, who we just discussed, defeated Virginia Commonwealth, the Rams, in that thriller. So the Lumberjacks chopped them down and advanced to the next round of the tournament. The Virginia Cavaliers got a little cavalier and were trailing at half against the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. I'm totally unclear on what a Chanticleer is, but they're gone as number 1 seeded Virginia beat them 70-59.
Two things, man. We got to get into the St. Joe's, Langston Galloway, the Christian Life Academy graduate. Great season, great career at St. Joe's. Really proud of you. He's the all-time school record holder in 3 points.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that on the
Galloway's
yeah,
a big time player.
Yeah, dude's a baller.
Great job there for Langston Galloway and the Christian Life Crusaders. You ought to be proud of him.
And they took Connecticut to overtime too. They could have, would have, should have won that game.
Yeah, in fact, I'm a little disappointed because I had chosen St. Joe's. But ULL, your season came to an end, but it was a great season. The Raging Cajuns finished 23-13 on the year. They've got a lot of juniors on that team that contribute a lot, Eric, and you and I are very familiar with their recruiting class coming in.
They got
Folks,
some
you're going to
ballers.
see ULL again in this NCAA tournament. They've got some of the best basketball players, with the exception of our present company, coming to their school with it. Well,
you mean not excluding our present company?
Well, yeah. Well, it's possible. Well,
right. It's a possibility.
I know where he's going.
Yeah.
So.
Wink, wink.
So ULL fans. But anyway, we do know that they've gotten the Christian Life.
Right. They got Jonathan Stowe.
Jonathan Stowe, who's a beast.
Right, and they just got another player.
They got the kid from St. Aug that we saw up at the state championship against
Right, was it 32?
The big guy.
Oh, what had Magic Johnson's number?
Yes.
Oh, his name's on the tip of my tongue. Bryce Washington. That was his name.
Excellent player.
Yeah.
Stands about 6'8".
Big
and
dude.
then they also have the kid coming from Country Day.
Right, yeah, and I cannot remember his name, but he's good.
Man,
he is a baller.
So I'm telling you,
That's Country Day won the state championship.
Listening around the country, the University of Louisiana Lafayette, they are putting together a really good basketball team.
Yeah, they're gonna be something else. That's Creighton Blue Jays did in fact beat Louisiana Lafayette 76-66. That game was close for a while. Creighton was able to extend it and pull away at the end. Good rebounding by the Blue Jays late in that game. 3 more scores. Kentucky beat Kansas State in a game that's a lot closer than it sounds. 56-49. They were just able to outlast the Wildcats in a free throw shooting contest. So we have more Wildcat on Wildcat crime as Kentucky joins Arizona in clobbering their namesake. Iowa State Cyclones defeated the North Carolina Central Eagles, and they proved to be the superior natural disasters as the Tulsa Golden Hurricane lost to the UCLA Bruins pretty thoroughly last night, 76-59 in the late game. So those are all of the first round scores that we have. Should set up a very interesting round of 32 coming up this weekend. Why don't we take a short intermission?
Let's do that.
And we'll do I Told You So, and then we'll get to the big announcement.
Right. Okay, that sounds like a plan, man. So, let me get us ready for the break.
Alrighty, and we'll tell you what we have coming out of the other side. We're going to have our usual weekly segment, I Told You So. By the way, 225-343-9927, area code 225-343-9927. If you'd like to get in on the conversation today, there's a whole heck of a lot to talk about. We got about 25 minutes left today. We're going to talk about Nick Parker's big announcement where he's going to school. Also, we're going to talk about the LSU Tigers basketball as they are still alive in the NIT as they pounded the San Francisco Dons, making them the last Dons in the tournament, as Coach Cone discussed them. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and we'll see you back on 90 Seconds on Louisiana All American Sports. Alrighty, welcome back to Louisiana All American Sports on 96.9 FM WHYR LP. Baton Rouge Community Radio. You're listening to the Louisiana All American Sports Radio program. As we always do every week, we'll get to see where I told you so, when Perry told me so, and believe me, I had a whole plate of crow to eat over the past week as we are ready for this week's segment. And I told you so, by the way, 225-343-9927, 225-343-9927 to get in on the conversation.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
The rather schizophrenic Big Ten Conference, which has 12 teams, which I think is just a poetic symbolism of how schizophrenic they are. Ohio State and Michigan, both of these teams, Ohio State has really been just on the roller coaster all year long. They're playing Michigan. Michigan on paper has had a better season. They've been less inconsistent. Of course, Steve Beilein had his team, was the national runner-up last year, the Steve Beilein and the Michigan Wolverines. But I'm actually going to go with Ohio State in this matchup today.
That Ohio State team, they have a difficult time scoring. I don't think I've seen a Division I team struggle so bad to score at times. So I'm going to go with the Michigan Wolverines here, and this should make for an interesting I told you so.
I agree. Georgia Bulldogs and Kentucky Wildcats. I'm just upset city today. I actually like Georgia in this game. Kentucky is motivated to win some games. I think they are at risk for getting stuck in that 8 or 9 seed, which is almost a kiss of death. I think they have something to play for, but I think Georgia pulls the surprise off on Kentucky this afternoon. I really do.
Oh, wow. I'm going to stick with the Wildcats here, man. I've got to stick with the Wildcats.
Michigan State, number 22, against the number 12 Wisconsin Badgers. I like Bo Ryan and the Badgers.
No.
Against Tom Izzo and the Spartans.
Oh, man, Tom Izzo all the way. I'm all the way in on Tom Izzo, and I just think Tom Izzo's going to pull out the W, and you'll have Michigan versus Michigan State in the championship game tomorrow.
Also, we have SEC semifinal. We have the Tennessee Volunteers against the number 1 ranked Florida Gators. I think the Volunteers are volunteering to be Gator bait today.
Oh, there's a big surprise!
We have in the ACC semifinal the Virginia Cavaliers and the Pittsburgh Panthers. I think that the Cavaliers are going to slice up the Panthers and face the Duke Blue Devils in that ACC final game.
That's an incredible... I think I'm going to have a heart attack and die from not surprised.
That's going to be Coach K and his stars and his senior leadership against Virginia's defense. My thing is I'm going to pick Duke in that game.
No.
You were wrong. You were wrong. Nah, 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 nah.
It's a toss-up on that game. I just like the Cavaliers. I've picked them all season. Sure. I like how scrappy they are, and I look at them as an Elite 8 type team. Normally the Duke Blue Devils are an overrated team around this time of the year. This year, I do think that with Jabari Parker, they're a more talented team than they have been in the past few years.
So, Houston Rockets at the Miami Heat. The Rockets have been on fire. Fire like Hayan, as Mystical would say. So, I like the Heat in that game only by the thinnest of hairs, and that thin hair being the fact they're in Miami on national television.
Right.
And we also have later this week Oklahoma City going to play the Bulls in Chicago. I like the Thunder, but I'm going to go on their good credit ever so slightly. And we know when I give good credit, that's a kiss of death.
I'm going to go with the Bulls in that game.
No.
All right, so yeah, I definitely ate some huge helpings of crow there, and I told you so, and hopefully there's no more coming up because my bracket has gone up in flames if you checked it out online. So anyway, now to business, as we have Nick Parker, Port Allen Pelicans senior point guard, about to make his big announcement on where he's going to school, and I'm sure there's going to be a college basketball program that will be very, very happy with what they hear. Perry, are we ready for the drum roll?
We are ready for the drum roll, please. And here we go. Nicholas Parker will take his basketball talents to the University of
Loyola in New Orleans.
Hey! Wow!
The Loyola Wolfpack down in New Orleans, right next door to the Harvard of the South in Tulane, but some could say they're the Harvard of the Crescent City. In Loyola, excellent school, excellent education. I had a friend, Richard Hinton. He was an assistant coach at Loyola for quite some time. I know the caliber of people. Tory Boyer, who was an assistant coach with the Madison Prep
plays the same
Chargers.
Position as Nick Parker.
Right, point guard, fine guy. That's just that's an excellent. That's one of those things when people see Loyola University of New Orleans on your transcript, your reputation already precedes you, and it's in a good way.
Nicholas, if you tell us why, what separated Loyola from your other options, and why are you going there?
Well, they came to about 8 of my games this year, and Monday we went up there for a visit. I ran a couple games with their players. They took me on a tour around school, introduced me to a couple professors that talked to me, and I just decided to go there because I liked it. It was nice. and I'm going up there in either pre-engineering or business marketing.
Awesome. So, pre-engineering, business marketing. What do you want to be after your college career?
After it's over, I just like to have a nice job that support me and my family, hopefully.
Awesome, man. You just don't know how good it is to hear that.
I mean, it's nice to hear good kids that come from good stock, and we're not just talking about any Nick just doesn't just blow it up on the basketball court, which is not easy as it is. He blows it up in the classroom. 3.7 GPA, number 5 in his class over there in Port Allen High School, and that's a 3A school, so they got a lot of kids in that school.
But not only that, Eric, not only is he a tremendous basketball player that we've seen impact a basketball game without putting the basket in the goal. He can do that, it looks like at will at times, but he makes a tremendous impact in games, and he may only score 1 or 2 baskets.
Right, exactly.
Because he's playing on both ends of the court. He's facilitating his teammates. He makes everyone on the Port Allen Pelicans better.
Giving folks headaches on defense.
Right. So now this is going to be with the Wolfpack out of the NAIA Division I, out of the Southern States Athletic Conference, with about 5,000 students. They are in New Orleans. They are the Wolfpack. Their colors are maroon and gold, for those of you around the country that aren't familiar with this school. The head basketball coach is who, Nick?
Coach Gio.
Coach Gio, Dr. Michael Gio. Did you know he was a doctor, a PhD?
No, sir.
That's awesome, man. You're learning from someone that is scholarly, almost as scholarly, similar to your scholarly aptitude. So, man, I think it's an excellent choice.
I agree.
And I'm looking forward to coming down, man. Can you get Eric and I some tickets to come watch y'all play?
Yeah, man.
Hopefully.
Okay, man. Well, you get us some tickets. We'll come watch.
Look, he's getting big already. He's like, I'll see what I can do.
I'll see what I can do. Yeah, I wonder if he's going to answer our calls in a year.
Right. We'll have my people call your people. We'll do lunch. So, talking about some more basketball, man.
Let's get into the games, the round of 32, man. It starts in a few hours.
Yeah, there's one game I think that's going on right now that started at 11:15. I want to say it was one of the more one-sided games, but they're underway as we speak. Right now we have, this is just the round of 32 in no particular order. We have the University of Florida playing Pittsburgh. Today, I think the Florida Gators are going to chew them up and spit them out. Stephen F. Austin will face UCLA, and I do think that's where the Lumberjacks will probably meet their Waterloo.
No, I've got them winning this one, too.
You have them beating UCLA, really?
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I got, who? You said Pittsburgh?
No, this is the UCLA Stephen F. Austin game.
Oh, no, I got UCLA on that one.
Okay. What about you, Nick?
I got UCLA. They got big guards, 6'9" guards.
I want y'all to know this is going on the record. So next week, when y'all are sitting in your respective homes and you're listening to the show, you're going to hear this back now, okay?
You're going to hear whether or not...
Disrespecting the Pac-10. The Pac-10 is a very good conference.
We have also the Oklahoma State Cowboys. They'll be facing the Syracuse Orange. Obviously, I have Syracuse all the way in that one.
You sure that's the right matchup?
Is Oklahoma State, they didn't win? They lost?
Oklahoma State won, but I don't think they're playing Syracuse. I think they play Arizona.
No, that's a totally different bracket. That's Oklahoma. Oklahoma would have played Arizona had they won.
Oklahoma State's right here.
Point, yeah.
Okay, that's Ohio State I would have had. That's why. Okay, that's my bad. Dayton. Thank you, Perry. My fault. We have, that's my own scribble scratch I'm reading. We have Dayton playing Syracuse, and I do like Syracuse there. I think the Dayton Flyers run comes to an end. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Syracuse. Let's get everyone's opinion here.
Give me Syracuse.
Yeah, Syracuse.
All right. Kansas Jayhawks will face Stanford. The Stanford Cardinal. I got Kansas in that one.
Give me Kansas.
Kansas?
Yeah, Kansas, but it's going to be a close game.
Think so. Okay. It could be. I mean, Stanford can, they
Pac-10 love.
Yeah, that was Nick Parker who claimed it to be a close game.
Memphis is going to face Virginia. I think the Cavaliers advance on with relative ease.
Give me Virginia. I love Virginia. That's going to be a Final Four team.
Yeah, Virginia.
And we have Michigan State. They're going to play Harvard, and I think that's where all that stops time is. I think they're going to coast right by the Crimson.
Yeah, Michigan State, everybody loves them. I love them. Give me Michigan State.
Got to go with Obama on that, man. Michigan State.
Iowa State Cyclones, North Carolina Tar Heels. The Tar Heels struggled to beat Providence. They're not going to have, with Melvin Ejim and DeAndre Big Daddy Kane, I don't think they're going to have the same kind of luck. I like the Cyclones in that one, Iowa State.
Love Iowa State.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Coach Hoiberg, man, he looks like he's ironed out all the wrinkles in that one.
I've got Iowa State, I think, winning this round, but losing the next round. Who are they playing today again, Aaron?
They'll be playing the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Yeah.
Wildly inconsistent North Carolina.
They are. I mean, they can't shoot, and well, that's tough when you got a team that can do everything well like ISU.
Part of basketball is putting the ball in the basket.
But exactly. We have University of Connecticut narrowly slipped by St. Joseph. They'll be playing the Villanova Wildcats, and in spite of, these are two very underwhelming teams, but I actually like UConn better. I like what Shabazz Napier can bring. And I've just never been sold. I've never been impressed with any of Villanova's big games. At least I think Connecticut's been tested a lot this year. And so in a game of two teams that aren't going very far, in my opinion, I think Connecticut wins.
Give me Connecticut.
Connecticut.
All right, I love this because this is where I get a chance to differ. Villanova's going to win this game, and let me tell you why.
No.
We'll see, man. Hey, at least my Final Four teams are all still alive.
Ooh. Ouch. Go ahead, Barry.
No, but this Villanova team is a really good basketball team, and they've flown under the radar this year for the most part. They did get a 2 seed here in this bracket, but they're just big. They can put the ball in the basket, and Connecticut struggles at times.
They do. I mean, we saw against St. Joseph's. I mean, they struggled to. Their strength is defense and ball attacking defense, and they didn't really attack the ball very well against St. Joseph's. I mean, there's a little inconsistency there, but it is tournament time. I think they got this is what I call their first round jitters. I think they shook it out of their system. We'll see. I mean, look, Villanova's receded second for a reason, so it's not like
Is this the same Villanova team that's gotten twice blown out by Creighton?
right. Exactly. And you got Javon Pinkston, who again is up and down.
UConn is no Creighton.
Ooh, let's see. So we have a dissenter.
Wow.
In the group.
When I say blown out by 20 points each time.
Yeah.
Once on the road and once at home.
McDermott is a formidable opponent. Anytime he's on the court, Creighton has a chance to win.
Well, that's what I was
you
going to
got
say.
Creighton going to the Final Four then.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Actually, I have Creighton in the Elite Eight, but that's neither here nor there. Derek, but you raise a point, though, is that when Villanova has gotten tested, they've looked bad. UConn has beaten some good teams like the likes of Memphis. They've lost to some good teams, but they've been on the same court. And that's what makes me uncomfortable picking Nova to advance to the round of 16. Out west, going out to the western side of the United States of America, we have the Arizona Wildcats and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. That's where Oklahoma State's playing. That was a complete bungle on my part. I do like Arizona in this game.
Eric, what's coming up after our show, man?
We've got Noel Jackson, Music Satisfaction on 96.9 FM, WHYR Baton Rouge Community Radio. So I've got the Wildcats over the Cowboys. Gentlemen?
Give me Arizona State.
Arizona.
I chose Arizona in this game as well. However, Marcus Smart and the young man from Glen Oaks.
Is that Markel? No, it's a different guy.
Brian Williams.
Thank
you, Nick
yes,
Parker.
Appreciate that.
Former Louisiana Player of the Year.
Wow.
These guys, they can light it up at times, man. This Oklahoma State team has the potential here. This really made me nervous because I chose Arizona to make it to the Final Four, but they've got to get by Oklahoma State, and this concerns me a little.
Well, I think the key there, they have another key player, Markel, I want to call him Brown. Thank you. Markel Brown on that team.
Is he from Louisiana as well? Or,
I thought so. Yeah,
He's
okay.
from New Orleans, I want to say. No.
Up north.
Yes, from up north. He played on that Bossier team that won the state championship a couple of years
I knew he was
back.
from around these parts.
Yeah.
But, look, that's Coach Butch Pierre. He says he will recruit the heck out of Louisiana, the assistant coach at Oklahoma State, former LSU assistant, and, well, he's done just that.
Right.
When Markel Brown is on his game, that is like what I consider the X factor. Marcus Smart, you know what you're going to get. But when that young man is putting the ball in the hoop and making good decisions, that's where the difference can be. But I think Arizona will have enough to outlast them. We'll find out.
I love the point guard, by the way, from Arizona.
I'm
not sure his name.
Yeah, I'm
Kind
having.
of look like you.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody in Arizona, they recruit the light skin.
Mike Bibby. No. Miles. And anyway, Miles. So we have also, as Perry is seeing, if somebody wants to chitter chat with us, we have North Dakota State against San Diego State, NDSU against SDSU. I actually like the Bison in this game, believe it or not. I've never been sold on San Diego State all year. I just don't know.
This is what I'm going to say about this San Diego State team. They're underrated in this part of the country because we don't get a chance to see them often because they play so late because of the time difference. But Steve Fisher has done an excellent job with this San Diego State team.
Good coach.
Yeah, great coach. And they surprised me last year by taking a first-round loss. So this year, I think these young men have it on their mind to advance. And I think they'll win today over the underdog North Dakota
State Bison.
Yes.
Didn't San Diego State lose twice to Gonzaga though? Or they lost twice to an in-conference opponent this year. That's why I felt a little wishy-washy on them.
But look, we got a caller, man, and he wants to talk to Nick Parker.
Alrighty.
And this is
go ahead. You're live
Coach
on the air.
Taylor. And Coach Taylor, go ahead with your question for Nick.
So, Coach, I've been coaching for 26 years, Northeast High School, and my question to Nick is, I've seen Nick on the track field, I've seen him on the basketball court, and I just found out recently that he, listening to your show, that he has the high grade point average. But how does he balance being an athlete with a grade point average like that and being one of the best athletes in the state with basketball and track? What's his balance? And I'll listen to you.
Thank you, Coach.
Awesome question.
Well, I go to practice. We have practice from 3 to 6, 3 to 5:30. After that, go home, take a bath, study for 2 hours, and go to sleep. Get up, go to school.
So basically, focus is the key. You sound like a
focus. Keep doing routine. Go through your routine over and over.
Awesome. Coach Taylor, I'm glad you called, and we'd like to have you on the show talk about your Northeast program from time to time. So check back in with us. I'm glad you mentioned that Nick Parker is a track athlete as well. Let's go. Last night in a track tournament, Nick Parker placed third in the triple jump. No, I'll take that back. You won the triple jump, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you won the triple jump. What else did you win?
The triple jump, long jump, the 110 hurdles, and 300 hurdles.
4 different events. The triple jump, the long jump.
He swept, right?
The 110 hurdles and the 300 hurdles. This young man won. So not only is he a great basketball player, floor leader, scholarly athlete, he also is a track athlete as well. This Friday at the John Williams Relays, he will perform, he will compete from 3:30. The field events start at 3:30. The track events start at 5:30. Where is the John Williams Relay?
Port Allen High School.
At Port Allen High School. So if you're in the area, you like track and field, you can get by and check that out this Friday at Port Allen.
Went perfect in 4 events. That's impressive. That's impressive.
He's an athlete,
yes,
man.
Sir. So moving on, we got about 5 more matchups on that side of the 6 more matchups on that side of the bracket, and 5 minutes to go. So let's blast through them. Baylor is going to face Creighton today. I like Creighton in that matchup. I just think Baylor is very inconsistent in scoring, and I think they're too post dependent. That's just my 2 cents.
Doug McDermott to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I got Creighton.
There's
I'm
Perry.
all in on Creighton as well.
So all 4 of us like the minor upset, definitely a seeding difference, but we like Creighton over. No, I'm sorry, Creighton's a higher seed. Creighton's a 3. My bad. So yeah, that's not an upset. So now moving along, we have the Wisconsin Badgers, and they will face the Oregon Ducks. I think Bo Ryan and those Badgers are going to pummel BYU.
Give me Oregon.
Ooh, all right.
Respect for the Pac-10. It's tough for Wisconsin to score. It's tough.
Oregon.
All right, so so no buyers on. Nope, these guys are sellers on Sam Decker of Wisconsin. Wichita State Shockers against the Kentucky Wildcats. I think this is where the Shockers meet their Waterloo. Not that they're not very impressive, but I just think Kentucky is going to have more athleticism and more speed. I think this is a good 8-1. A good 8-1 upset. A good 8-1 upset here. So, anyway, we have a caller on the line?
We do, man. We got Coach Jamie Holmes out of Family Christian Academy.
All right.
Man.
Coach Holmes, how you doing this? Whoopsie daisy. Coach, how you doing this morning? You're live on the air.
I'm doing all right. I have a question for Nicholas.
Nick, can you hear? Okay, fire away, Coach.
We hear the stats that you scored over 2,500 points. I would like to add to that. I wouldn't mind knowing how many career rebounds you had in high school and assists, plus with the stats you put on the court and your grade point average. What I've noticed, man, how do you just become such a humble individual?
I just have a mindset on the court that I gotta help my team do what they gotta do, and off the court I have fun a little bit, mess around with the players, but I just stay humble and don't get the big head.
That's awesome. And that's instilled from where, Nick?
My parents and my family.
Awesome.
Balance, preparation, focus. We hear that over and over and over again with successful athletes.
Awesome. Let's get to another couple. Do you happen to know the rebounds, the career rebounds and the career steals? Do you know that?
I just know the season.
Okay, well, what were they for the season?
The season I had 7 assists a game and 6 steals a game.
Right. Awesome.
Coach Holmes, you got anything else for Nick? Coach?
I think he hung up.
All right.
Hey, Coach Holmes, I want you to know, man, we appreciate you listening. The good people at Family Christian have always been good.
Oh, they
to us,
sure
man,
have.
Every time we go out there, and we just thank you, man, for listening and calling in. And again, we'd like to have you on the show when you have an opportunity.
FOMO to Geo. Let's race through it because we got 2 minutes left. We have the Wichita State Shockers, Kentucky Wildcats. I like Kentucky.
Hey, man, we got this superstar in here with us, man. We might not make it.
I got Kentucky. You got Wichita State, Nick?
Kentucky.
He likes Kentucky. All right, we have the St. Louis Billikens playing the Louisville Cardinals. I've got the Cardinals. I know who you got.
I'm already on record.
Derek's got St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Nick's got St. Louis.
I like you.
All right. We got a call. Let's get these last two out. We have Tennessee versus Mercer. I got Tennessee in that one.
Give me Tennessee, East St. Louis finest. Quanzo Martin.
And we have the Texas Longhorns going up against the Michigan Wolverines. I got Michigan. I think Texas is going to get crushed.
I've got Michigan.
Give me Texas.
All right.
Wow.
And we've got one last call. Caller, I need you to make it real quick for Nick Parker. Ask your question. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm a single mother, and I was calling to ask Nick Parker, what could he advise peers to do to try to remain and stay focused and stay out of trouble but be successful with things academically as well as on the sports end of things? What can you do?
We've got it, listener. Thank you for that call. Nick, go ahead.
Just stay away from the wrong crowds. You know what's wrong and what's not wrong. Stay away from peer pressure. And on the court, just try hard. Practice a lot, because the 2 hours you do at practice with your team, you're not going to cut it. You got to work hard after practice. And listen to your parents, because your parents know what's best for you.
Hey, very well said. We got to rock and roll as we have 30 seconds left.
Nick, I'd like to thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coach Parker, for bringing them and sharing
Absolutely.
them with us.
And everybody enjoying the show. Thank you very much, Nick. So, as we always say around this time,
ADT, JNS, love you.
Have a good afternoon.